Sorry about that, folks. Hold on. Sorry about that, folks. Had to let the cat in from the garage. But anyway, you know, again, it 230 is bound to confuse a lot of people, and like it confuses her because and the individual. Now she's not saying the jumbled mess. Now she's not saying jumbled mess or anything or whatever she just said. Let me get back to it. Now she didn't say the mess you wrote here seems to imply that it was for another reason. She's not directing that towards the person that towards the original poster of the nail in the coffin article. She's not directing it towards them. She's directing it towards the person that first replied to to me posting it there, would basically to that person that sarcastically replied to me, or whatever. Now, the last person to respond was around this morning, and this is what they said. And basically, this is not, this is not, basically kind of in agreement with Crystal. I mean, not Crystal, but Double C, if you will. I may have given the name away there, so I apologize. But with Double C or the original poster of the entry or the article. But this is what this individual had to say. Hey, just recently this morning, about almost about 20 minutes ago. This is what they said, and I quote: "20 minutes ago, this is the newest post. This is a new poster or a responder on this topic, and this is what they had to say, and I quote: In short, diehard Sally fans waste 2 years of his life. In short, diehard Sally fan wastes 2 years of his life going over a comic issue to pinpoint every flaw in it simply because he didn't like what happened in it." Now, this is not Double C. This is some person we're just going to call MI. We're just going to call this person MI. And then MI continues, and I say, and I quote, "Let me guess. He also wrote a dozen lengthy journals, blogs complaining about the redesign, Sally redesign, putting clothes on her, or getting rid of the cheek fuzz. Well, consider this. In the games, you'll notice that all females have rounded cheeks, whereas several of the male characters does have cheek fuzz. Could it be possible that the cheek fuzz in the games is a stand for beards and therefore belong on male characters? But wait, Knuckles and Silver and Shadow don't have cheek fuzz. Well, of course they don't, because those guys have regular. Okay, of course they don't, because those guys shave regularly, unlike Tails and Big, who are either too busy working on the machines, or in Big's case, too laid back to care much for personal appearances. Kind of puts Sally, Fiona, Mina, and Bunny into a new perspective. They're either a group of lady bottles going through a gender change process that was halted because of Robotnik's takeover, or the old girls with access for growth problem." Okay, alright. So that was another sarcastic remark by somebody there. So I apologize for that from MI. But I will say this. Double C and this individual both have good, valid points. It's like it just doesn't make sense. But, and I do apologize, first of all, this is going to go into two parts. But I think I have a solution as to why this happened. I believe, and I know I may get some flack on this, I believe Ian Flynn originally planned on using another character. Now you might ask yourself, well, who's that character that you think of? Well, I have a poster hanging above me right now. And the character I'm looking at, let's just put it this way. The character I'm looking at, the clue that you need is they're pink. And that's it. Now, I'm not saying that this character, I'm not saying that because I hate the character. No, I like the character. I really do. I'm a fan of hers. I really like her character. I really do. I think she's fun, energetic. I think, I truly like the character. I truly do. But I believe, it's just my opinion, that she was originally slated for it. But Sega stepped in and said, no, you're not going to do that to this character and have her that way for almost 2 years. So you can, do this arc. But what's ironic is they are okay with it happening to her in the crossover. My only assumption it was a crossover and you need some kind of special event to make it happen. And like I said before in another video, perhaps that was the shocking agreement that Ian got from Sega that was okayed. Or whatever. But still, it makes you wonder. You know what I'm saying? It makes you wonder exactly who was originally pinned in. Because if what these individuals say is true, and it's their opinion to speculate on this whole thing and find the flaws. If it's true, in my opinion, that perhaps this one individual in pink was probably originally meant to be, or the original blue was meant to be, it's all debatable. But again, a reason I think they didn't want the pink one or the blue one to end up having that happen to them was because they're the game characters. And yet, you have the same pink individual, the same pink character turned into a roboticized master. I guess maybe they were okay with it for the crossover, but not for almost a 2-year arc. Makes sense, I guess. But the point is, folks, you have to understand where people are coming from. And all they ask, like I said, you see, okay, I probably didn't say this, but basically, they understand where people are coming from when people defend. I think I mentioned it earlier. If I didn't, I apologize. But they understand where people are coming from when they say, hey, 230 redeemed Sally. It made her better. It took away everything the previous writers did before. So don't judge it. Don't say it was bad. They and myself and everybody else can understand why they're so quick to defend what Ian did in 230. And again, it's like I mentioned before in several other audio videos, it's mainly the fact that also Ian is one of us. He's an actual fan that's now the head writer. It's kind of like when you make a comparison to, like, say, professional wrestling. When you give the fans what they want it to remain as that way. When CM Punk was the WWE champion for 434 days, fans wanted him to continue to be champion. The marks wanted him, the pure pro wrestling fan marks, if you will, they wanted him to remain champion for as long as he could. They didn't want him to lose to The Rock. They didn't want him, to lose to Taker or anything like that. They wanted him to remain champion. They wanted him facing Cena instead of Rock facing Cena. They wanted that. They wanted him to remain champion even to this day. And when his title was taken away, a lot of those fans weren't happy. And when he lost to The Undertaker at WrestleMania, a lot of the fans weren't happy. All because WWE was basically making CM Punk the god, if you will, of the indie fans. Job out at 3 major pay-per-views to the likes of Rock, twice to The Rock, and to The Undertaker as well. Well, essentially made him job out in 4 big matches. Let's put it that way. Jobbing out to Cena, which basically is like, a hex, and like it's not supposed to happen. jobbing out to Rock Trice and then jobbing to Taker at Mania. So you can kind of understand, in comparison, when fans get upset about what happened to CM Punk over the past few months, you can kind of understand in comparison why you have a long list of fans that are quick to defend Ian Flynn. Ian Flynn, as strange as it sounds, is the CM Punk of the Archie Sonic comic book. Basically, they do not want Ian Flynn to be replaced. They do not want people, criticizing him. They feel he is their savior, their hero of the comic. That is why they're quick to defend him, because he is, like I said, one of us. He came from our area, and they do not want nobody criticizing him. Just like the fans don't like people criticizing the likes of a CM Punk or anybody else that's now in WWE that made a name for themselves on the independents. And again, I know it's a strange comparison, but it's fact. It's fact. In my opinion, it's fact. And that's why you have people quick to defend it. And against those like this individual and like Double C and what they agree upon. This is why you have them quick to defend. That's why you've had them quick to defend the entire arc. Because they feel, it's just my opinion, but they feel that if the criticism grows and people start, and more start to get against Ian Flynn, then Ian Flynn's going to be shoved aside for somebody else. And that there's somebody else that comes in is going to do exactly what they don't want. But you see, in my personal opinion, you can agree with it or not, this is why fans are quick to defend. Now, again, there are those fans like Double C, like the individual that posted this entry about the nail in the coffin of 230. Essentially what they're saying is, essentially they have come out and said, look, we understand where you guys are coming from. We get it. We understand it. But all we ask in return is for you to respect and understand the flaws we're pointing out and what we see. And again, this is why, like I said, they're quick to defend Ian Flynn. And again, this is why overall, basically, this is why you have this divided fan base, especially with 230s, especially what's occurred in 230. Because even though, let's say, personal opinion, let's say the fans that defend Ian see those exact flaws and agree with it, they're still not going to say 230 was a bad issue. They're still going to say it redeemed her. They're going to say it's one of the best things Ian has done. And again, like I said, strange comparison, but he's like the CM Punk of the Archie Sonic comic book. And again, I know it's a strange comparison, but you kind of get what I'm saying. Now, again, this is why when people read something like this at DA, at places like the Sega Forums or Sonic Stadium or wherever, Toon Zone, if you will, why they're quick to jump against it, because they don't want nobody to say bad things about Ian. But what's ironic, like I said, is you have fans that point out those flaws. Like I said, that agree that on agreement Ian's a good writer, but he does have his flaws. But also you have the fans that do stuff like that to say, hey, look, we respect the fact that you like Ian. We respect the fact that you want Ian to stay on for good. We understand and respect that. But what we want in return is for you to understand and respect what we're pointing out, what we're trying to say here about 230 and about this entire arc. All we ask is for you to understand and respect that. And I'm sure on the other end, you have people that are like, look, we understand that are in agreement with that. They're like, yeah, we do understand and respect what you're saying. And yes, we do see the flaws that you're pointing out. But what you have to understand is Ian is one of us. You have to respect the fact that Ian came from us, the fans, and he's now the head writer. So he understands where we're coming from. So again, when you have people that do articles like this and then update them with other stuff that they find, again,